This is an article from the Sydney Morning Herald, a Australian publication, and this article just shows how despicable these people are. This article to me shows how these people have absolutely no conscience and really think that the people who read this stuff are idiots. And I kind of feel that's my main target audience, morons. Let me read it. The mining boom may be pouring billions into the Australian economy, but it appears to be leaving women behind. A growing pay divide between men and women has developed in a number of industries, data shows. A Fairfax media analysis of wage data from the past 17 years found Canberra was the best place in Australia for women seeking equal pay. But more than a decade of affirmative action nationally has failed to make a significant dent in the pay gap, with women across the board on average 17.4% or $13,000 a year worse off than men in the same jobs. This is almost unchanged since 1996. Now we all know about the pay wage gap myth, that the way they take these statistics is if somebody works 40 hours and another person works 45 hours, usually the man, it will still be counted as full-time work. They don't take anything into consideration like what kind of job someone does, or even the hours that somebody works in that job to work the stuff out. And these people still expect other people to just agree with it. Oh yes, women earn less money than men. Oh, it's horrible, it hasn't been changed. Come on, this is bullshit. In New South Wales in 2012, women are paid 13%. Again, all this bullshit. In Victoria, the figure is 16.2%. While women's wages have risen over time in many sectors, men's wages have risen much faster. Of the industries with the largest pay gaps, mining topped the list. As at February this year, women in mining earn $35,000 a year less than men. And this part of the article, and this whole article is titled "Mining Doesn't Dig Deep for Women's Pay." This really pisses me off, because I have a friend who works in the mining industry. He was a consultant there, and a story you don't hear about, because unless 10 men die in a row, you usually don't hear about all the little accidents happening, explosions, things going wrong, and men die all the time or have massive injuries all the time in the mining industry. And what this person is saying here, this bitch, is that she expects that just because somebody is under the title of mining, and the majority of men are out there, risking their lives, but just because they're in the mining industry and the woman doing an office job is in the mining industry, she's been discriminated against by not being paid as much for sitting in the office and not taking any risk at all. And this just really tells you what these people want. They would want the men in the mines getting paid the same amount as the women working in the office, writing stuff out and talking on the phone. That's what they want. That's what they see equality as. As long as your title is the same, as long as you're in the same industry, then you should be paid exactly the same, regardless of what you actually do or how long you work for. And then feminists wonder why people hate them, and people say that feminism is a dirty word. It's articles like this, articles that treat people that treat it as idiots, expecting people to get pissed off at this huge wage gap between mining without looking at exactly what kind of work these people do. And this is just one of the most obvious ones, because we know how many men die at work, and a lot of those work-related deaths are in mining, and this is why they get paid more. I mean, it's so obvious for people, and yet here we have another feminist. I'm guessing she's a feminist. I'm going out on a limb there, expecting people to kind of just buy into this bullshit of women getting paid less because of some kind of inequality, rather than men simply doing a harder job with more risks and working longer hours. And I tell you what, those women who work in the mining industry are probably overpaid. I tell you what, man, if they're not out there taking the same risks as men, if they're sitting in the office